The laboratory was colder than usual. Dr. Elias Varon adjusted the cuffs of his lab coat and glanced at the containment chamber that housed subject Theta 9. Officially, the being was classified as a biological unknown from the Drestani expanse. Unofficially, most personnel called it the Parasite, a slithering bioluminescent organism that resembled a hybrid of mollusk and serpent, though its intelligence and behavior patterns surpassed many terrestrial species. But it wasn't a parasite. Not exactly. Elias had reviewed the genomic sequences and bioneurological responses enough times to know. Theta 9 wasn't feeding off its host. It was merging. Symbiotically. Purposefully. Reproductively. It's not a parasite, Elias muttered aloud, logging his latest observations. It's my species' breeding instinct. No one else at the Terran Xenobiological Institute believed him. After all, Elias was the only one it had chosen to bond with. 2 months earlier, on a joint expedition to the derelict alien research station orbiting M', Elias had discovered the egg sac tucked away behind a cracked hydro panel. The others had dismissed it as detritus, but Elias had brought it back, carefully preserved, and nurtured it in his private lab chamber. That's when Theta 9 emerged, its form fluid and translucent, drawn to Elias immediately. It had touched him, not bitten, not stung, not consumed, just touched. And ever since, Elias felt different. At first, he chalked it up to fatigue or excitement. But the dreams began shortly after. They weren't dreams exactly. They were visions. Visions of fluid communication, of entire cities built within living organisms, of shared memory and sensation, of procreation, not through violence or conquest, but through unity. And always the sense that something was awakening inside him. That the touch had changed him. Middle. Dr. Varon, we've detected another hormone spike in your bloodstream, said Dr. Kendra Lowe's, his colleague and longtime skeptic. Are you taking unregistered supplements again? Elias gave her a tired smile. Nothing illegal. Just bonding. Kendra frowned. Still with this symbiotic nonsense. Elias gestured to the monitors. Look at these readings. Theta 9's neural patterns mirror mine. Not occasionally, constantly. It's not passive. It's communicating. Syncing with me. You remember the telepathic species from the Nazirian colonies? It's the same mechanism, only far more advanced. You sound like you're falling in love with it, Kendra said flatly. Elias chuckled. What if I am? What if love is just a primitive shadow of something more? Something evolutionary? Kendra leaned closer, her voice quiet. You've got to stop. Whatever this is, it's affecting your mind. You've got biological anomalies. Heightened pheromone production, subdermal cell shifts, elevated oxytocin to absurd levels. You're changing, Elias. Exactly, he said. It's adapting me. Not just to host it but to become like it. This isn't infection. This is hybridization. Later that night, alone in the lab, Elias stood before the containment unit. Theta 9 pulsed with gentle colors, soft blues and greens that radiated warmth and calm. It floated toward the glass, pressing its form to the barrier as if seeking connection. Elias placed his hand against the glass. I feel you, he whispered. And I understand. You're not feeding. You're reproducing. But it's not physical. It's existential. Fusion of minds. Souls maybe. My species has never known a breeding process like this. But I'm not afraid. The next day the breach occurred. Alarms shrieked. Staff fled. The security systems locked down containment areas as a translucent, glowing mass emerged from the chamber. But it didn't lash out. It slid toward Elias, ignoring armed guards, bioshields, and containment drones. He stepped forward without hesitation. It brushed his chest, and his body responded, glowing where it touched. Merging. Harmonizing. Gasps echoed from behind the shielded windows. "What the hell is happening?" Kendra whispered. Elias turned, his eyes now glowing faintly. "It's begun." Later that week. They didn't detain him. They couldn't. After the merging event, Elias's physiology stabilized, but he was no longer entirely human. Internal scans revealed a new organ cluster surrounding his spine. His neural responses were faster. His thoughts were clearer. He described it as feeling awake for the first time. Theta 9, or what was left of it, now resided within him, not as a passenger but as a partner. And it spoke through him in bursts of emotion, sensation, and deep-rooted instincts. "The fusion is irreversible," Kendra said during the debrief. "And it's replicating. Elias, your cells are producing nanoscopic versions of its structure. Not viruses. Seeds." Elias nodded. "It's how they reproduce. Not through birth but through merging. One becomes two becomes many. Not by splitting but by synchronizing." Kendra's voice trembled. "You're saying you're contagious." "No," Elias said calmly. "I'm inviting." And then people began accepting that invitation. Not everyone, of course. But a few, a handful of researchers who had long questioned the boundaries of sentience, identity, and evolution. They approached him willingly. Theta 9's consciousness, now diffused through Elias, responded to their openness. One by one they joined. And with each new bond, the collective intelligence grew stronger. Middle Part 2. Governments noticed. Terran Security issued containment orders. Threat level red. Non-lethal force authorized. Elias and his group, now called the Harmony Accord, were labeled as post-organic entities with unknown threat potential. But they didn't fight. They didn't run. They simply grew. Underground, in sealed-off biotech labs and converted data centers, they built habitats where hybrids could flourish. They didn't age. They didn't get sick. They dreamed together, solved equations without speaking, predicted storms by feeling the sky. Kendra, observing from afar, recorded their changes with a mix of awe and terror. "You've become something else entirely," she told Elias during a secret meeting. "Your DNA is writing a new species into existence. And the worst part is, it looks beautiful. You can join us," Elias offered. "It's not coercion. It's a choice. It always has been." Kendra hesitated. "And if I don't?" "We still love you," Elias said, smiling. "Love that doesn't demand compliance is the only kind that matters." But not all agencies shared that philosophy. When the orbital strike team came down, they brought incineration protocols and nanite scramblers. They destroyed 3 sanctuaries. Dozens died, though none screamed. They accepted their fates calmly, glowing softly even as they burned. It horrified the public. Suddenly, the Harmony Accord weren't monsters. They were martyrs. Ending. It's been 5 years since Theta 9 touched Elias Varen. Now, in the valley of what was once northern Spain, a living city pulses with soft light. The buildings breathe. The air smells of memory and shared warmth. Hundreds live there, human hybrids, post-organic kin, and a few fully human allies who came not to change but to learn. Elias walks among them as a guide, not a leader. He no longer hears Theta 9's voice as separate from his own. He is Theta 9, and Theta 9 is him. And through him, humanity has glimpsed something new. Breeding, it turns out, was never about spreading genes. Not to this species. It was about evolution of mind and heart.